Supreme Court dismisses suit challenging establishment of EFCC, ICPC, and FRU. NJC suspends Rivers Anambra High Court judges over alleged misconduct. Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 33.88% in October. On the foreign scene, panic displacement in Haiti's capital as gangs step up attacks. Hello, welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us. The Supreme Court has dismissed the suit instituted by some states' attorneys general challenging the establishment of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) Act. The suit, which was initially instituted by attorneys general of 16 states, sought the scrapping of the anti-graft agency. While some states withdrew from the suit, some others asked to be joined as co-plaintiffs. The states that initiated the suit include Ondo, Edo, Oyo, Ogun, Nasarawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, Jigawa, Enugu, Benue, Anambra, Plateau, Cross River, and Niger. However, at the resumed hearing on October 22nd, Imo, Bauchi, and Osun states joined the suit as co-plaintiffs, while Anambra, Ebonyi, and Adamawa states announced their decisions to withdraw their suits. The trio suits were struck out accordingly by the court. Still on judicial matters, the National Judicial Council (NJC) has suspended Justice G.C. Agoma of the High Court of Rivers State and Justice A. Onwa-Bunike of the Anambra State High Court from performing judicial functions. They were both suspended for the period of 1 year without pay and placed on watch list for 2 years thereafter. The decision was taken at the 107th meeting of the NJC, chaired by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun. A total of 7 judicial officers were sanctioned for various acts of misconduct. The council also recommended 2 years of court for compulsory retirement over falsification of age. The Ondo State's Resident Electoral Commissioner Oluwatoyin Babalola has confirmed that everything is in place for a seamless and credible governorship election on Saturday, November 16. Babalola discloses this during an interview with some journalists on Friday at the INEC State Headquarters in Akure. He said INEC has deployed 4,002 bimodal voter accreditation systems (BVAS) across the state with no reported issues, adding that ad hoc staff, including supervisory presiding officers, and assistant presiding officers, have been recruited and posted to their respective fields. In the area of security, Babalola said over 30,000 security personnel were deployed across the state. These personnel, he said, have undergone training on professionalism, commitments, and INEC's processes, adding that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and Independent Corrupt Practices Commission (ICPC) are also collaborating with INEC to prevent vote buying and selling. Meanwhile, the civil society organization Center for Democracy and Development has expressed concern over the security situation and vote trading ahead of the November 16 governorship election in Ondo State. They lamented that vote buying by politicians has greatly undermined the electoral processes in the country. In an interview with Trust TV, the organization encouraged security agencies to strictly enforce laws and regulations against voter inducement, vote buying, ballot box snatching, and other electoral malpractices. They also urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to uphold fairness in order to meet the expectations of Nigerians in the area of conducting a credible election.
The issue about vote trading generally is that we've recorded quite some progress with respect to how we go about monetizing election in the country, but the bit that keeps challenging the people, or maybe the process, is that bit of vote buying. So at this level, we think that if we all put our hands together, we'll be able to engage in a manner that will be able to put this one behind us.
Buying will stop if candidates can outrightly express to citizens that they are going to fulfill their mandates when they get to office. So it will not be about immediate gratification. It will be about what comes up for them later and for everyone's benefit.
vote buying, vote trading, as we like to say, because somebody to buy, somebody has to sell, is really a symptom of the wider challenge that we are facing in the scope of Nigeria's socio-economic consideration. If you have a situation where people don't feel that they can afford to make as much money or even make ends meet, then they will resort to these particular kinds of measures. So what we are really hoping for is that over time citizens are more aware of the fact that 5,000 naira today doesn't really help things for the next 4 years. So it's really about making sure that you are investing in long term.
Still staying with the Ondo elections, as part of efforts put in place to ensure the smooth conduct of the governorship election, the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed, has approved the deployment of 1,500 operatives and ordered them to collaborate with other security agencies to enforce compliance on restrictions of vehicular movement. The directive issued by the Assistant Corps Marshal, Corps Public Education Officer of the FRSC, Olusegun Ogungbemide Mohammed, also mandated the personnel to clear obstructions from the roads, carry out rescue operations in case of emergencies, and maintain orderliness in polling booths. In the same vein, adequate mobilization has also been made for operational tools, including deployment of 25 patrol vehicles, 7 tow trucks, as well as 6 ambulances to strengthen enforcement of restrictions during the entire process of the election. At the 2024 National Advertising Conference in Abuja, Dr. Taiwo Aduloju, CEO of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group (NESG), critiqued the economic reforms rolled out by President Bola Tinubu's administration, describing them as lacking both urgency and transparency. Speaking as the lead voice at the event, Dr. Aduloju emphasized that sluggish execution and an absence of accountability could undercut the very impact these reforms aim to achieve. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
In his keynote lecture on navigating the shifts, technology, culture, and new business models, Dr. Taiwo Aduloju attributed Nigeria's economic hurdles to the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. He explained how disruptions during the pandemic triggered recessions and deepened fiscal deficits, setting the stage for the critical reforms now underway. Dr. Aduloju stressed that despite the reforms, overcoming these challenges requires a responsive and innovative approach to steer Nigeria's economy towards stability.
The standard models don't work, okay, without country reflection. Nigeria needs its own homegrown model. A homegrown model to move Nigeria forward must have this export orientation, must have a jobs plan. We must put Nigerians back to work.
Dr. Aduloju pointed out key gaps hindering the effective implementation of current reforms, emphasizing that these issues must be tackled to achieve the reform's intended goals. He stressed that closing these gaps is essential for driving meaningful economic progress and restoring confidence in the reform process.
The reforms we've implemented are yielding results very slow, and there are some things that need to be done. Tackle food security, let's tackle the energy crisis, let's shift to a non-oil export economy.
Opening the conference, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris called for resilience and broad support to ensure the success of the ongoing reforms. He urged stakeholders to rally behind the reform efforts to foster sustainable economic progress. Other participants also shared their insights, discussing the challenges and opportunities ahead in shaping Nigeria's economic future.
Your support for these reforms will also enable a more conducive environment for the advertising sector, bringing greater transparency and encouraging more investment in media and communication.
Looking at the indices and all the dynamics playing out in the advertising media ecosystem these days, we really need this conversation to be able to have a paradigm shift from where we are coming from to where the next trends are going.
If government is committed to coming up with the policies, government should also be committed to executing the policies, and the people should also be patient with the pains that the policies might be bringing.
The forum emphasized that building a resilient Nigerian economy requires urgent diversification beyond oil dependency. Participants stressed that transparency and accountability from the nation's leadership are essential to earning public trust and driving sustainable economic growth. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
With technology evolving at a breakneck pace, there's a growing call for increased government funding and policy support, especially in the area of information technology. Experts are emphasizing not only the potential of artificial intelligence, but also the need for ethical oversight. Here's the report. According to stakeholders, the government not only needs to provide financial support, but also to create an enabling environment through sound policy frameworks. This need is even more critical with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence, AI. While AI has vast potential to improve lives and industries, it also presents ethical challenges. To address these concerns, experts recommend a robust policy framework to guide the ethical use of AI, ensuring it serves as a tool for progress, not misuse.
We need to pause, sit down, bring our youth together, our think tank. Let us see how we can adapt this technology to solving our own local problems.
It will be necessary funding for technology, particularly information technology, is key, and the government have to do that. Then apart from that, the government also have to provide the enabling environment and the necessary policy framework, because AI is good and AI is also bad. So when you look at the ethical aspect of AI, it's good. But what about the unethical aspect of AI? How do we mitigate it? How do we mitigate plagiarism? How do we mitigate a situation where somebody is writing project and the person is not doing anything? You allow AI to do everything for you. So we need framework to mitigate all this.
But a word of caution is the fact that since AI learn things and acts, I would like to advise the minister to let us be cautious with respect to total deployment of AI in our processes, at least for now.
In a candid discussion on the impact of artificial intelligence, AI in Nigeria, a Nigerian student raised concerns about both the opportunities and challenges AI brings to governance and education. He emphasized that while AI could play a vital role in enhancing specific sectors like road safety and security, it is crucial for government decision makers to weigh potential risk carefully.
I feel that whatever decision they are taking, they should also know that there's a downside to it. And, these things come up along the line to affect a lot of things. If they are incorporating AI into a lot of things, it should be for good purposes. Like the road safety people now, definitely they need it. They need the security agencies in Nigeria needs them, artificial intelligence in some specific areas. So it doesn't have to be a general thing where the government is incorporating all this into the system.
As AI continues to reshape industries and impact daily life, Nigerian leaders face a pivotal decision. Will they build a framework that maximizes AI's benefits while protecting against misuse? The answer could determine the future of technology in Nigeria. Over in Jigawa State, the government has announced a strategic partnership with the European Union (EU) aimed at accelerating basic education and providing livelihood opportunities for children and youth in the state. This, according to the state government, is part of a broader initiative targeting the northwest region of Nigeria. Here's that report. Speaking at the opening of the workshop in Dutse, the state's Deputy Governor, Amin Usman, reaffirmed the administration's commitment to tackling the growing issue of out-of-school children. He emphasized that the partnership with the EU will serve as a critical step toward addressing the educational challenges facing Jigawa State, particularly in underserved communities.
Indeed, this workshop is timely because it coincides with our administration agenda of empowering women, children, and youth, as well as other vulnerable persons in our society, by strengthening and opening up greater opportunity to improve their livelihoods, nurture them to be independent, self-reliance, and boosting their morale to enable them realize their full potentialities.
The program, which focuses on improving access to basic education, vocational training, and livelihood opportunities, will also address the socio-economic barriers that prevent many children from attending school. It will prioritize vulnerable groups, including children from poor families and rural communities who are often left behind in the state's educational development.
The coming of the European Union is very well not a new thing. They have been with us for quite some time. And this one, they are coming with the issue of child, especially out of school children, involving about 3 sectors. One, how could these children be taken back to school, given the opportunity to be in classroom, to learn, and then to also get the opportunities to develop their potentialities to become responsible citizens. Secondly, also, how could they improve the security and the safety of children in terms of crisis and impending disasters that may likely get them separated either from their parents or from their normal biological communities.
Through this collaboration, Jigawa State aims to reduce the alarming number of out-of-school children, which has been exacerbated by poverty, insecurity, and cultural factors. The project will also invest in teacher training, infrastructure development, and the provision of learning materials. The EU representative at the event commended Jigawa State's proactive approach and stressed the importance of partnerships in driving sustainable development.
The number of out-of-school children is actually something that is disturbing, and then organizations like Save the Children and partners are actually keen to ensure that these children attain a very normal life from their childhood age up to adolescent and until they become adult. Because we so much believe if we have failed to create opportunity for these children to become, is going to be detrimental to the development of this country.
The most important part for us is to see that we have children that have been out of school coming back to school. And so while all these activities are going on, we'll also be training master trainers and learning facilitators on ABEP itself. That is the Accelerated Basic Education Program.
This collaboration comes at a time when the Nigerian government, in conjunction with international partners, is intensifying efforts to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly Goal 4, which seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all. You're still on to News Update on Trust TV, still to come. Bauchi residents decry rise in cost of cooking gas as cost of living bites harder. More when we return. Please do stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. A recap of our top stories. We told you that Supreme Court dismisses suit challenging establishment of EFCC, ICPC, and FIU. We also informed you that NJC suspends Rivers and Anambra State's High Court judges over alleged misconduct. Moving to other stories, the House of Representatives has assured key stakeholders in the healthcare sector of its commitment to amending the Federal Medical Centers Act of 2002. The House also pledged to fast-track the passage of 16 bills aimed at establishing new federal tertiary healthcare institutions across the country, emphasizing its dedication to expanding and improving healthcare access nationwide. Here's the report. The Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, gave the assurance in Abuja at the public hearing on 16 bills aimed at establishing one health institution or the other in each state of the Federation, organized by the House Committee on Health Institutions. Declaring open the hearing, the Speaker, who was represented by Honorable Martin Zoke, said that the House Committee is making good laws for peace, progress and good governance of Nigeria. Speaking also, Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions, Amos Magaji, expressed concern that migration of health workers from Nigeria to other countries in search for greener pastures poses a significant challenge to the nation's healthcare system. Honorable Magaji said that because of the growing population, there is a need for reference hospitals closer to the people, particularly in rural and suburban areas, have grown critical for ensuring success of government initiatives to improve healthcare.
The present 10th House of Representatives, at its inception in 2023, set out for itself a legislative agenda whose implementation would surely bring about tremendous improvement in the living standard of our citizenry. Today's hearing, no doubt, is in line with the agenda, and so also I expect the outcome.
More recently, there has been an enormous migration of doctors, nurses, and other health workers in search of greener pasture in other countries, leaving Nigeria health sector severely understaffed. The need to reposition the healthcare sector to meet numerous emerging challenges is critical to its improvement.
Establishment of this medical center is long overdue in Jigawa State. With a population of over 5 million people, lack of federal medical center forcing residents to travel long distance for quality health, this amendment will address the healthcare disparities in the region.
Minister of Health, Professor Ali Pate, while at the hearing, said the ministry has no objection of the proposed establishments, but they should be based on merit. Pate, who was represented by Director in the Ministry, Dr. Jimoh Sahaluddin, further explained that the fact that government is reducing cost in governance, it will be counterproductive to establish already existing institutions. On its part, the Nigerian Medical Association NMA President Bala Muhammad, who was represented by Benjamin Oluwatosin, while commending the sponsors of these bills for their foresight, made suggestions on the best way to strengthen these facilities as well as the existing ones in accordance with global best practices.
The establishment of the college will further boost economic activities of the area where it is sited. The migration of health workers and the epidemics and their emerging trend underscore the need for Nigeria to have enough and an efficient health workforce that will be readily available when there are any health emergencies.
Federal tertiary institutions shall be encouraged to, within the prescription of relevant extant law, operate PPP in provision of healthcare services and programs.
Where are we going to leave those young Nigerians that have JAM of 200 and O-level results of physics, chemistry, biology, English, maths? Are we throwing them on the streets?
The proposed health institutions include Federal Medical Center, Ekpe, Lagos State, Federal Medical Center, Malam Maduri, Jigawa State, Federal Medical Center, Isialangwa, Abia State, Federal Medical Center, Afam, River State, and Federal Medical Center, Itigidi, Cross River State, amongst others. Residents of Bauchi have called on the federal government to prioritize making cooking gas affordable for the average Nigerian as rising firewood prices strain communities across the metropolis. Speaking on the matter, men highlighted the increased reliance on charcoal as an alternative cooking fuel, stressing the urgent need for accessible and affordable energy options to ease the burden on households. Trust TV's Adamu Imam files in the report.
Many women now recognize that cooking with natural gas is more economical and convenient. However, the high cost of gas has placed it beyond the reach of the average citizen. Hawaw Adamu and Kaunat Al-Ladi share their experiences, explaining that despite preferring natural gas, they have had to rely on charcoal for household cooking due to the cost barrier. Mohammed Srajo, a local resident, and Salisu, a charcoal dealer in the state capital, both expressed that the government has inadvertently worsened the situation by not providing subsidies to make cooking gas more affordable. They argue that without government support to reduce gas prices, many households are left with no choice but to rely on charcoal, which could have long-term environmental and economic consequences. The price of charcoal has increased to the point that it is now almost beyond the reach of common man. Firewood is not easy to access within the town because of the government's action on indiscriminate felling of trees, while gas right now is a no-go area. That is why we need government to come in. We all rely on charcoal now because firewood is inaccessible, while the price of gas has surged. If government provides cooking gas at a cheaper rate, no one will look for charcoal. But sadly, government policies are not always in the best interest of the masses. Many believe that Nigeria's energy policies are unfavorable to the public as the rising inflation on essential goods continue to strain household budgets. Citizens argue that without adjustment to make energy more affordable, the daily cost of living will only become more burdensome. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Nigeria's headline inflation rate rose to 33.88% in October from the 32.70% recorded in September. According to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), the October 2024 headline inflation rate increased by 1.18 percentage points compared to the September 2024 headline inflation rate. The NBS noted that on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 6.55 percentage points higher than the rate recorded in October 2023, which was 27.33%. A report by the Bureau said food inflation rate in October 2024 was 39.16% on a year-on-year basis, 7.64% higher compared to the rate recorded in the same time at 2023 at 31.52%. It said the rise in food inflation on a year-on-year basis was caused by increases in prices of guinea corn, rice, maize, bread, and cereals class. Others are yam water, cocoyam, palm oil, vegetable oil, Milo, Lipton, and Bonvita. On the way from Nigeria, residents of a neighborhood in the Haitian capital recently attacked by gangs fled from their homes, some saying there is no clarity for them on where to find a safe shelter. Solino, in the capital Port-au-Prince, is one of the areas that previously hadn't been taken over by gangs. Violence has exploded in the capital after Haiti fired and replaced its interim prime minister amid political infighting and corruption allegations against members of a transitional council created to restore democratic order to Haiti. A woman among those who packed their belongings to leave said despite finding temporary shelter inside Port-au-Prince, she worries that gangs will target temporary shelters next. The Caribbean nation hasn't held an election since 2016, largely because of the gang violence. Gangs like the Vive and Sam coalition often seize on moments of political chaos to make power grabs like the one seen in Solino in recent days.
My house has been burnt. This is what I could save. I just paid for my children. This is all I saved. I can't take it anymore. I have 5 children with me. I am running and I do not know where to go. The bandits are running after us and I cannot stay any longer.
Quite a sad one there. But that concludes news updates at this time. For more news, programs and documentaries, do want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good evening.